Right now, Noah, you are working on translating your practice ability to lay out into a game, correct?
hmm Yeah.
And so the idea is we want to get used to a few scenarios that are common that come up in games so that we can recognize them, identify them, and see them as opportunities to lay out often. All right?
hmm
Any questions before we start?
Nope.
Cool. So the first one is whenever we're defending a player and we're on the inside shoulder. Okay. So let's say we have a disc here in the middle of the field, yellow disc,
hmm
right? Wherever the cut is coming from, let's say that this blue player is cutting. If they are cutting, let's say to the side, right, this way, and we are on the inside shoulder, right? No matter
Yeah.
where they are on the field, this is always an opportunity where we might be looking to bid.
hmm
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's whenever they're cutting and we're on the inside shoulder, and let's just say the force is like this, right? And so we're trying to prevent this channel. The idea is we want to make a bid into this direction if we can. All
hmm
right, into that channel. Make sense?
Yeah.
So this is different to how we normally set up, or sometimes we'll set up like this, where we're on the outside shoulder. And so this is a kind of a difficult position to bid from because in order to bid, you need to go early and you need to go around them into where
Yeah.
the momentum is going. But this, when we're on the inside shoulder, and sometimes we find ourselves, like this when we're playing defense, is if we're following and we're running with them next to them, then this inside shoulder bid is actually a lot easier to do.
hmm
Okay? Because we're continuing in the same trajectory and we're also going next to the player so that there's less likely to become contact. Okay, there's like less likely for contact to occur. So it's less
hmm
dangerous. So that's the first one. Whenever we're on the inside shoulder of a cut, that's the first opportunity that we can lay out. All right. Any
hmm
questions on that?
Nope. That makes sense.
So this happens sometimes on the open side, but it also happens a lot on the break side. The reason it happens more on the break side is because usually, which side are we holding the buffer on? We're usually holding the buffer on the break side or the open side?
Open side.
Open side, right? And so you can see that if they make a break side cut, right, we're already
hmm
on that inside lane of them. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And so this is like this inside shot or this around shot. If we're close enough, then that's always a bidding angle. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions on that angle
That
from
makes sense.
laying out? Okay. So this is probably the most common one is whenever we're on the inside shoulder. Okay. That's always an opportunity to lay out, no matter if it's open side or break side. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going
That
to
makes
take
a
you
lot.
through two more examples that you can use to bait blocks by laying out. All right.
hmm
And so this is just to reiterate, this is kind of the experience that I've had through countless trainings and trial and error playing with, the likes of Sydney Sunder, the premier club in Australia, right? And so these are the scenarios that I've come up with after all that experience, right?
hmm
So the next one is if you're marking the one in the stack. Okay, you can see this. The next one is baiting this inside shot and then bidding on that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is more of a specific play where you're baiting for that specific shot so that you can go get the block. All right.
hmm
So essentially, you almost want to open up the channel for them to throw that. And you kind of want to have the mark being a bit more around so that they're more likely to throw this. But effectively, we're loaded in this position, giving them a little bit of space, not enough so that they can lead it out, right? But the idea is if they desire to zing it straight to them, that's within our one step beating range.
hmm
Okay. So that's the other example where we can bait at the one of the stack to get a layout block. All right. And you have to play around with this a little bit. And it's a bit more risky because if they get it, then they just get break side flow. Right. But the idea is you can play around with this a little bit close, maybe open it up a little bit. And then if this goes up, then you're ready to bid instantly. All right.
Okay.
So the idea is we're here ready to react to it straight away so that we can go get that block. If we don't get that block and they get this, then that's very threatening. That's very dangerous. All right.
Okay.
So I wouldn't do this all the time, but sometimes if you notice that this player likes to just throw it direct to the one, then that's maybe a scenario where you can bait that block.
Okay.
All right. Any questions with number 2?
No, that makes sense.
So number 1 was going on the inside shoulder, right? Number 2 was kind of baiting this inside shot block. Right. And I'm just going to talk you through one last example. All right. Any questions up to this point?
No, that makes sense.
Cool. The last example is, let's say you're marking this player here. All right. And they throw to the open side and they go to the open side. Right. This is very common. Right. Because they just want this return pass. Are you familiar with this example?
Yeah.
Cool. So what we want to do in this scenario is, first of all, when we're on the mark, I want you to be ready to run with them after they pass the throw. So if you know this person likes to throw and go, you want to be on the mark, but you want to be in an athletic position, so you're ready to respond. All right? When this goes up and they start running up the line, yeah, our goal is to follow them on the inside shoulder again. So we want to slip underneath them and we want to be following them underneath them like this. All right. So the last block opportunity is similar to the first one where we're on the inside shoulder, this time a different direction of the cut. When this goes up, right, this is where we want to bid. All right.
Yeah.
So the idea is our goal here, even though the offense has an advantage because they're going to be in front of us, right? We're not really able to make up enough ground to be on the outside, but we can double down on the inside and make a bid on this play here. All right.
Yeah.
Make sense?
That makes sense.
And so sometimes, depending on the shape of the throw, you don't even have to go as close to your offensive player as you think. Sometimes you can cheat the lane and get the block in front of the disc like that. All right. And so maybe this bid, letting them go out, and then maybe it's being in this inside shoulder, realizing that the throw is going to go up and then bidding across like that, right? Maybe that's how you're going to intercept that pass, which is usually like an outside in shape. All right. Yeah. The alternative is staying close and then bidding on this. Okay. So those are 3 scenarios that come up often in games where you can find layout opportunities. All right.
Okay.
I think that's a good summary. Any questions?
That makes a lot of sense. No questions for me.
Cool. So I think those are the 3 main examples that I look for initially when I've, after many hours of trial and error, many trainings of giving it a go and things working and things not working. Those are the 3 more common examples that I started using when I first started laying out games. All right. And so my goal is to save you kind of those months of trial and error. And hopefully you can just get these secrets, kind of get these ideas flowing straight away without having to try it yourself. You can just do what works. There's, of course, more advanced spaces on the field that you can be looking for, but I think those 3 are common areas where you can be looking a bit. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Any questions?
Makes sense.
Cool. I think I might have some examples. If you'd like me, would you like me to show you some?
Sure.
Cool. Give me a second. All right. So I'm going to share screen. and I'll show you a few examples. All right. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So you're going to see the play occur down here, bottom of your screen,
Mhm.
where you can see that the offensive player has gone up the line,
Yeah.
right? And you'll notice the defender here chooses to take the inside shoulder to bid. All right. You can see that his momentum is going upfield.
Mhm.
And so it's very difficult for him to bid that way. But what he can do is slip underneath and bid on the inside shoulder. So I'll show you what happens here. And that's enough to cause the turn. All right.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll play it one more time. So he realized that he's gotten beat to the outside. So he can no longer bid that direction. So instead, he decides to slip under and bid on the inside shoulder, on the right shoulder, on the side
Mhm.
closest to the disc. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any questions with this example?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. In terms of this positioning, like it's definitely more aggressive because he's kind of baiting him to go up the line and look for a bid opportunity. And so in this scenario, it pays off because it works. The throw was a little bit behind, but there's a lot of other scenarios where this positioning might not necessarily work. All right.
Yeah.
But sometimes we've got to take our odds, in the game. Cool.
Yeah.
This is another example of a layout D, and the example is at the bottom of the screen once again. So actually, it's top right or right side of your screen, which is about to occur. So this is the example of the inside block, the inside lane block. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just play it one more time. I'm just going to pause. So can you see that the defender is on the inside shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that means that they're both going in the same direction. And then once this throw comes up, it's easier for the defender to bid in the same direction as the offensive cutter. So you can look at this. And you can see they're both going in the same direction. The throw goes up, and then that's when she knows to accelerate and then lay up. And
Yeah.
gets an amazing D, which is like super tightly marked. Right. Look at this. Fantastic.
Mhm.
So I would say those are the two common examples, and these are two examples in film. I think this one is the most common one, where you're on the inside shoulder, throw goes up, and you're in the same direction, and you can just make that bid. All right,
Okay, yeah.
cool. Any questions on that?
No, that makes sense.
Excellent. So I think next steps is give it a go, right? When you're doing your layout practice or your layout progressions now, this week, I want you to visualize a little bit more those specific scenarios. Figure out if it's scenario 1, 2, or 3 that you're working on, so that you can visualize it, and so that imagine the cutter in front of you, imagine being on the inside shoulder, and then make that bid, right? And that way, when you go to game and when that same scenario comes up, okay, cool, this is the timing that I need to slip underneath, this is the timing where I need to slip on the inside shoulder, this is when I can make that bid. All right,
Okay, yeah.
cool.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Apart from that, unless there's anything else you want to cover, I think we've had a pretty productive session. What do you think, Noah?
I agree, yeah. I think that is all that I really want to talk about. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. All good. Well, what I want to do is, have you booked in your 2025 planning session yet for January?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Jump on the link, book in our 2025 planning. It's I'll be back in mid-January, so there'll be the times available. And then in that session, we'll talk through how I can help you in 2025. And we'll kind of plan through what that first 3 months is going to look like in terms of our development goals, but then also have some broader goals set for the year as well. All right.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just quickly checking the times.
Cool. You don't have to do it now, but I just thought I'd remind you so that you get a slot before it fills up.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll book in one right now.
Cool. All right, Noah. That's all from me.
Sounds
But
good. Thank you very much.
I'm very excited to hear that, you're starting training with the college on the 7th. Lean
Uh-huh.
into it. Be excited for it.
I am.
Apply all the learnings that you get inside the academy and all the tactics and stuff, because all those 1% wins are going to help you get an edge. Okay. So I'm very excited that you've taken a big step in your defensive ability in the last few weeks. And so just lean into that even more so that you can make more of that impact on the field that we're after. All right.
Sounds good.
Best of luck, Noah. Keep me updated. I'm very excited to hear about your journey in the first few weeks. And I'm
Yeah,
excited to touch base again come January.
sounds good.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
Adios. Bye, Noah.
Bye-bye.